The message arrives at 6:17 in the morning. At first you think it's spam. A notification with no logo, no sender, just one sentence. Global authority transfer complete. You stare at it, confused. Then another appears. And another. Within seconds, every television, every website, every screen on Earth is broadcasting the same words. All political authority, all military command, all economic control on this planet have been transferred to one person, you. Nobody laughs. Nobody calls it a joke. Because within minutes, the proof arrives. World leaders confirm it on live television. Generals confirm it. Central banks confirm it. Every system on Earth suddenly answers to your name. You are no longer a citizen of a country. You are the person now responsible for all of them. And that's when the excitement disappears. Because owning the Earth sounds incredible for exactly 5 minutes. After that, it becomes terrifying. More than 8 billion people are now your responsibility. Every war, every famine, every child without food, every family without clean water. For 7 days, all of it belongs to you. 168 hours. It sounds like a long time, until you realize it's less than 10,000 minutes, and every one you waste is a minute humanity never gets back. Day 1. For a moment, the temptation is overwhelming. You could live in the greatest palace ever built, command fleets of aircraft, own everything, anywhere, instantly. Nobody could stop you. But something strange happens when unlimited power lands in human hands. The fantasy dies almost immediately, because there's nobody left to blame, nobody above you to fix your mistakes. Every decision is yours now, and every consequence is yours too. So instead of chasing luxury, you ask a simpler question. What is actually broken about this world? The answers arrive faster than you expect. Economists, scientists, doctors, engineers. Within hours, one pattern becomes impossible to ignore. Humanity doesn't suffer because solutions don't exist. The food exists. The medicine exists. The technology exists. Humanity suffers because politics, greed, and fear keep those solutions from reaching the people who need them. For 1 week, those barriers are gone. Your first decision shocks the world. You freeze every military expansion program on the planet, every missile contract, every weapons deal paused at once. Trillions of dollars become available, not for war, but for people. Defense industries collapse overnight. Stock markets freeze because no algorithm was built to price a world like this. By the time the sun sets on your first day, you haven't slept, haven't eaten properly, and haven't stopped moving. But you feel something close to hope. For the first time in human history, the obstacle between a problem and its solution wasn't money, or technology, or time. It was permission. And for 1 week, you are the only permission that matters. Day 2. The clock doesn't care about how good day 1 felt. It just keeps moving. On day 2, you redirect everything toward clean water, food security, medical research, education, the largest construction effort in human history, breaking ground across deserts and coastlines and forgotten villages at once. Drone footage shows pipelines being laid in regions that haven't had reliable water in a generation. For a moment, you actually believe the world can be fixed in a week. Then an advisor pulls you aside in a quiet hallway and says something that stays with you longer than it should. Not everyone believes you'll give this back. You brush it off. You have no plans to keep this power past day 7. But the comment plants something uneasy in your chest, because somewhere out there, people who built entire fortunes on the world staying broken are already calculating how to make sure this week never actually ends. You tell yourself it's nothing. But that night, for the first time, you lock the door. Day 3. By day 3, the honeymoon is gone, and what's left is the harder work. The work that involves dragging the truth into the light, whether the world is ready for it or not. You order the release of every classified file, every hidden ledger, every buried scandal on Earth, all at once, with no filter and no warning. For 11 minutes, the planet goes quiet, the way it does right before a storm breaks. Then it breaks. Names that sat untouched for decades start trending in every language. An official resigns on a live stream before you've even finished reading the report yourself. Executives vanish from their offices mid-meeting. You believed transparency would create accountability. Instead, it creates fire, and now you're the one responsible for putting it out. You spend the rest of the day issuing statement after statement, trying to slow a wave you started yourself, realizing too late that truth, delivered all at once with nowhere to land softly, doesn't heal a society. It just exposes how fragile the peace already was. Day 4, this is the day nobody warned you about. It begins with a city you've never visited going completely dark. Power grid sabotaged, communication lines cut, and a message left behind, addressed directly to you. Some of us liked the world the way it was. For the first time, you understand the advisor's warning from 2 days ago wasn't paranoia. Somewhere, a coalition of the very people you exposed is organizing against the only thing they can't bribe or threaten, the clock itself. You spend 18 hours restoring power, sending peacekeepers instead of soldiers, apologizing live to a planet that is now more frightened than grateful. You don't sleep that night either. You just sit with the uncomfortable knowledge that fixing a system and fixing the people inside it are two very different jobs, and you've only got time for one of them. Day 5. On day 5, the coalition finally stops hiding. They don't threaten you. They do something far more dangerous. They offer you a deal. A quiet, legal-sounding path to keep this power past day 7. Permanently. No countdown. No expiration. Just you, indefinitely, in exchange for slowing down, for not finishing what you started, for letting a few of their secrets stay buried a little longer, and for one long, uncomfortable moment, you actually consider it. Unlimited time to finish everything you haven't gotten to yet. Nobody left to answer to. But you've watched 5 days of unlimited power quietly reshape the person you are, and you don't fully trust what a 6th or a 60th would do to whatever's left of you underneath it. So you say no. And the room goes cold in a way that tells you they expected yes. Day 6. With only 2 days left and a coalition now openly against you, you stop trying to manage every crisis as it comes and start building things that can't be quietly taken back by anyone who comes after you. You sign a single page guaranteeing clean water, health care, and education as permanent rights, locked to a wealth fund structured so no single person, including any future version of you, can ever unwind it again. You force every life-saving medical patent on the planet into open access forever. You gather the sharpest scientists and engineers alive, not because they agree with each other, but because progress has never once come from agreement. It comes from friction, from people who see the same problem completely differently being forced into the same room. Together, they build systems designed to outlive your authority by decades. The goal stops being to rule the world. The goal becomes making the world need rulers less. By the end of day 6, drone fleets have planted more trees in 24 hours than entire countries managed in the last decade. It isn't everything, It isn't even most of it. But it's permanent, and for the first time all week, permanent feels like the only currency that actually matters. Day 7. On the morning of the final day, the coalition makes one last move, dressed up as legal paperwork, an emergency order claiming the planet isn't stable enough for your power to expire on schedule. For a few unbearable hours, it looks like it might actually work, like 7 days might quietly stretch into 8, then 30, then indefinitely. But there's nothing left for them to seize. The systems you built on day 6 don't run through you anymore. They run on their own, by design. The order collapses, not because you fought them directly, but because you'd already made yourself unnecessary, which turns out to be the only kind of power that can't be stolen out from under you. In your final address, broadcast to every screen on the planet at once, you don't promise a finished world, because you won't be the one finishing it. You simply tell the truth, that 7 days was never enough time to fix everything, only enough to prove it could be fixed. And somewhere in that address, without quite planning to say it out loud, you admit you're almost relieved it's ending. Because this kind of weight was never meant to sit on one person for longer than a week. Maybe not even that long. The final seconds arrive. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then it's over. The authority vanishes. The ownership disappears. You are just another person again, standing in line at a coffee shop like everyone else, holding a phone that no longer answers to anyone. You wait for the loss to feel like grief. It doesn't come. Instead, you notice strangers on the street talking about things that, a week ago, nobody would have said out loud. The world didn't become perfect. Conflicts still exist. Human nature hasn't changed in 7 days, but something else has. Humanity caught a glimpse of what it looks like when the future matters more than individual interest, even briefly, even imperfectly. And maybe that was the real power all along. Not owning the world, just reminding it, for 1 week, what it's still capable of becoming. Because the real question was never what you would do if you owned the earth for 7 days. The real question is this: if humanity can change so much in 1 week, why does it spend the rest of history convincing itself that change is impossible?